Hi, it's Ben from My Cycling Coach. If you're watching this and you're a business owner, entrepreneur, time crunch, busy professional, but you also have a family and have to train very early in the morning just to fit your training in, then I want to share this with you today. As one thing that I struggled with was really trying to balance all of those things whilst having to train really early in the morning before the day starts. And found that trying to actually fuel building power and fitness whilst losing weight at the same time and having to train early in the morning, a real struggle. This would either go two ways. I'd find that I would have to get up even earlier to try and force myself to eat where I didn't really want to eat, and would then actually feel really quite sick, stomach discomfort on the bike. So this would prevent me then actually performing any high intensity intervals or any quality sessions that were going to allow me to build that power and fitness. Or it would be the other way where I would not eat and really then find that when I'm getting on the bike, I was low in energy and again, not able to hit target powers and intensities or put out a quality session to actually make progress with my power and fitness. So if you're in this situation at the moment, today I just want to share with this fueling hack that I have implemented with my own training now over the years, but also the hundreds of clients that we've helped build power and fitness on the bike at the same time as losing weight. And it really is this simple tip. If you're watching this and you're struggling with this today, this is going to be a real game changer for you. So let's get straight into it. So if you are somebody who training, let's just set the scene, set the example that I want to give here, who has to train at, let's say, 5 o'clock in the morning. You have to get up around 5 o'clock, get straight on the bike to fit your session in, as I say, because you know the day's going to be starting 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe even earlier. Kids are getting up, you've got to get things ready, you've got to get out the door for your really busy day. Now, the key thing here is to, rather than focus on fueling that first thing in the morning, is to actually just shift the focus of the fueling to the evening prior, okay? So rather than them, as I was saying, what I struggled with is thinking, because I'm training at 5, half 5 in the morning, having to get up at 4 to try and eat something so I have energy for that session. What you want to try and do is, let's just say, as an example, you are performing your session on a Wednesday morning at 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 a.m. Okay, what you want to do is split your fueling or place the focus of where you're actually going to fuel that ride the evening prior. So on the Tuesday evening is where you want to be focusing on two things. I'm going to give you the amount that I'd like you to focus on, but first, carbohydrates. Okay, so certainly if we are doing any high intensity training, if you're doing some VO2 max intervals, if you follow me on this channel for a while, I speak a lot about the different types of sessions that are really going to allow you to build that power and fitness on the bike. I even show you how to structure out your own intervals and build those sessions if that's something you struggle with well. But let's stick with the fueling for now. Okay, so if you're getting up, you're going to be doing some high intensity intervals, you're going to be taxing that anaerobic energy system, we need some carbohydrates. So the evening prior on the Tuesday evening, that evening meal, that's where you really want to ensure that you're having some carbohydrates within that evening meal. And of course you can also, this is quite easy to incorporate into the family. Some examples might be potatoes, pasta, rice, breads, wholemeal breads, loads of different types of carbohydrates out there. They're just some examples. You may have your preferences, whether that's for you or what you have to sit down and eat with the family on a Tuesday evening. You can choose those, but just really try to ensure that that Tuesday evening meal has some carbohydrates in it. And the reason for this is we want to top up our muscle and liver glycogen overnight, because the body will then absorb those carbohydrates, top up muscle and liver glycogen, so that when you get on the bike in the morning, you actually don't really have to eat anything, because you've done a good job with fueling that and topping up your muscle and liver glycogen the night before. In terms of the amount that we want to target, this is really 1 gram of carbohydrate per kilo of body weight in that meal. Or if this is a lot for you to try, if you haven't already been doing this, then you can even split this through, let's say, early evening, potentially late afternoon on the Tuesday afternoon, going into your evening meal. So let's just say if you are a 90 to 100 kg rider, this is sort of the average weight of the clients that we work with, as I say, helping them build that power and fitness whilst losing the weight at the same time. Then you want to be between, again, 90 to 100 grams of carbohydrate as part of your fueling on the Tuesday. So from late afternoon into the evening meal to top up, okay? You can even go, I've seen our clients, sometimes this might not be enough. If you're not already doing this, I'd start with 1 gram of carbohydrate per kg. 90 to 100 kg rider, that's 90 to 100 grams of carbohydrate on the Tuesday, whether that's starting a little bit from the afternoon into the evening, okay? As I say, what this is going to do is it's really going to allow you to top up that muscle and liver glycogen. You would have done that well. In the morning, you can then wake up at 5 a.m. before starting your session. You may have, something to drink. You might have a coffee, double espresso, banana. That's always my go-to. Bit of sugar there, bit of caffeine to get yourself going. That's a really light sort of breakfast to have. Or it might even be you go for an energy gel. You might have a little energy bar or something, just to give yourself a little bit of a boost to get yourself going in the morning with some caffeine. If you drink coffee and caffeine, it can really help with performance, certainly at 5 o'clock in the morning. But that's such a lighter breakfast and so much more manageable to actually consume at 5 o'clock in the morning, rather than thinking what I used to do is like, right, I'm doing this VO2 max session. It's a really key session for me to build my power, fitness, improve my VO2 max, all the great things that are associated with doing that. But do I really need to actually then have to get up at 4 o'clock and make a full bowl of porridge or granola or muesli, or try and eat some wholemeal toast or bread or something? That's so hard to do at that time. This way, it's so much easier, obviously, in the evening, just as part of your normal dinner, evening meal, to actually, achieve this amount, but 2, you can incorporate it as well with, family and things, which is great. You can sit down and have a real good, hearty carbohydrate meal, which is it's nice that you can actually eat some good quality foods there. You're also getting the carbohydrates in, which is topping that muscle and liver glycogen up for your training. That means you can get up in the morning and you actually don't really have to consume much. You can then just move straight into, if you're doing a high intensity session, I would really recommend that you go straight into carbohydrate powder mix within your bottle, in your bidon. 40 to 60 grams is what I'd be targeting through a session. If you're doing like an hour and 15-minute interval session, then I'll be going straight into have your coffee, have your banana, piece of fruit, energy bar, energy gel, potentially when you wake up. If you feel you need that, you can test this as well to find that, what works best for you. You may find that you're not even needing that. You might just have your coffee, jump on the bike, put some carbohydrate powder, whatever it is you're using. There's loads out there. Mix that with your fluid, straight into that. Drink that through your intervals in your session. And that way, you've actually not had to worry about eating anything that early in the morning. You've got on the bike, you've fueled well. And instead of, as I say, feeling really sluggish because you have forced yourself to eat on the bike or before starting, and just feel that sluggish feeling that you can't then have a good session. Or like I was saying, what I used to feel the other way is then actually you haven't eaten, or the night before you haven't actually just placed the focus here, is that you're so low in energy that doing any high intensity intervals and things, it's just because you have restricted yourself from those carbohydrates. This could also be thinking that, you're avoiding carbohydrates to try and lose weight. But I guarantee you, this exact method is what allowed me to lose 18 kilos whilst building power on the bike of 135 watts. Yeah, this is the exact method that I've implemented with our clients and everything that has helped them, 500-600 plus cyclists now actually drop between 6 to 10 kg whilst building 25 to 50 watts of power at the same time. And probably 80% of those riders are, busy professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, really busy days with families, and have had to implement this strategy so that they've been able to actually fit their training in at that time of the day whilst being able to do everything else in life. So I hope that's useful. If you haven't been using this already, give it a go, as I guarantee you it will really help. One thing that you can also try, this is obviously more specific to a shorter, interval training session that's an hour to an hour and 15 minutes in length. One thing that you can do if you're doing your longer endurance ride, potentially at the weekend, you might have a little bit more time. You may still be I guarantee you're probably still having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning if you've got things to do all weekend with family and all the other things that are going on in your life. But the only adjustment you'll need to make here if you're going out on the ride is going to be potentially 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, is I would just change this amount here to 2 to 3 grams of carbohydrates per kg of body weight. Okay. Now, let's just say, again, I'll give you a quick example here. You're doing your longer ride at the weekend. You're getting up at 5 o'clock. You're going out at 5:30, 6 in the morning. Again, that is a lot to eat there. So on the Friday evening, this is where, or even from like Friday afternoon, because to eat this amount in one sitting for this longer ride is also then hard. So I would say, so if you're going out on the Saturday morning to do the ride, split this over the Friday lunch that you're having, or really just through Friday afternoon. So on the Friday afternoon, have some carbohydrates, whether it's pasta, potatoes, rice, wholemeal breads. Through Friday afternoon, you might have another higher carbohydrate snack. Then on your Friday evening meal, again, have some carbohydrates. You may even have like, one of the things that I always used to call was like Pizza Friday. Pizzas are great because actually, you get really good sort of amount of carbohydrates depending on the base that you're using. But there's some of the pizzas out there, you can literally get like 80 grams, 90 grams of carbohydrates in one pizza. Yeah. And if you're going out, you might be thinking, I'm trying to lose weight here, Ben. I shouldn't really be eating pizzas. But if you're going out and you're doing a 4, 5, 6 hour endurance ride the next day, let's be honest, that pizza really isn't going to touch the side. That pizza is probably going to be around 800 to 1,000 calories that you're eating there. And if you're going and doing a 4, 5, 6 hour endurance ride, then you're going to be burning anything between, at least on a 6 hour endurance ride, 2,000 to 3,000 calories minimum. Yeah, it's better. And this is where that key balancing coming in with fueling whilst losing the weight at the same. If you know you have a strategy in place to actually fuel the rides you're doing, depending on the ride, and adjusting the amount. So as I said earlier, for a shorter ride, we're focusing more on the 1 gram. Okay, but if we know we're going out and do a long gram, we can push up to 2 to 3 grams because we're going to need that to actually fuel performance and have a really good ride there. And then, as I say, Friday lunchtime, Friday afternoon, Friday evening, you probably would have quite easily achieved 2 grams of carbs per kg, maybe even 2.5. You can then wake up Saturday morning, again, double espresso banana was always my go-to, whether that's for you an energy gel, a bar or something. And then just from the first hour, I won't go into too much during ride. I've done other videos on this, check it out on the channel. It's called Bonking 100-mile rides. I run for a full fueling and hydration strategy for 100-mile rides there. So check that video out. It's only a few weeks ago or a couple of months back that I did that video. But you can then, if you've had this 2 to 2.5 on the Friday, you've had your sort of, pre-long ride, quick fix on the Saturday morning, you can then just go straight in to your during ride fueling from that first hour. If it's a longer ride, I'd probably say you want to be close to the 60 to 80 grams, but you can then just transition straight into that and you're away. And as I say, guys, this way, this will transform how you feel on the bike, but being able to do it whilst incorporating it with, work, business, life, family, but also still achieving your goals if that's building power whilst losing weight or just trying to improve long-term fitness, health, through what you do. For those who don't know me, Ben from My Cycling Coach, we've now helped over, as I say, 500-600 plus cyclists achieve 3 watts per kilo and beyond. That's by losing 6 to 10 kg, building 25 to 50 watts of power. If you find these videos useful, please drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, welcome, hit subscribe. My goal is to fast track you to your goals without having to take the past 10 years plus, which it took me to get there through what I learned in my own training, studying sports science and nutrition, and also what I've learned with working with those hundreds of cyclists. If I can fast track you to your goals through these videos, then I've done my job. Fuel smart, ride strong. Speak to you soon.